Hello, welcome to our show, Wireless News. I'm Roberta Prescott, directly from Amdocs Latin America Business Summit. Here at the event, Amdocs present a survey showing that while customers recommend their carriers, they stay for only less than a year with the same carriers. And now I interview Manuel Zepeda. He's the president for Amdocs Latin America, who will explain why it happens.
Sure. So thank you for having me, first and foremost. I think the important thing is that what we're finding out is that carriers are losing a very important opportunity with their customers, and that is to providing them with a better customer experience. They have been disintermediated in other areas, as in their network and billing and other places. So now the customer is really the one area where they actually can win that battle against the over-the-tops. So when a new customer goes and recommends you to a carrier, they need to do a better job in ensuring that that person is actually satisfied with that service in the first year. The data shows that if they actually stay for more than 1 year, then they will be very happy with that customer and will stay with that carrier for a long period of time.
So what are you saying, that maybe after 1 year they start to be disappointed with the customers, which was one of the other highlights of the service, right?
I wouldn't say disappointed. What I would say is that if a customer is with a carrier for more than 1 year, the propensity for them to stay with that carrier for a longer period of time improves a lot. The one driver that's the predominant driver of why people stay with that one carrier is not the network, it's not the bill, it's not the brand, it's the experience. The survey that we did shows that about 89% of all customers that recommend a service provider will stay with that service provider because they gave them a good experience.
And during your lecture, you also talk about the main drivers that are pushing and transforming telecom industry. I'd like you to just give me a heads up what's going on, and in your opinion, what are these main drivers, and what can we expect for near future?
Sure. So I think from a main driver perspective, there's a few. The first and foremost one I would say is the tremendous competition and over-the-tops. Verizon just announced they're buying AOL for their advertising and video for their video assets. Google just announced 2 weeks ago their MVNO offering Fi. So that's one area where I think they need to do. That's an area that's pushing them. Another big area that's pushing them is the tremendous consolidation in the market space. If you look in Brazil, look in Mexico, and elsewhere, you see tremendous consolidation in the space. As a matter of fact, the amount of M&A activity that happened in 2014 is it's 4 times greater than it was in 2012.
We are seeing a battle for services and experience. Why is this happen? And could you explain this battle?
Can you repeat the question?
The battle between service and experience that carriers are facing. You mentioned that during your presentation, and I'm wondering to have more details on that.
Sure. So if you think about it, the carriers have a few main assets. They have a network, okay, which is considered to be the holy grail, right? Without a network, no one can use an application. But even their network is being devalued and commoditized by the over-the-tops, Google. Mm-hmm. That's one area. The other area that you see is the carrier's brand, right? They have tremendous brand power in the market. There are very well-known entities in the markets that they serve, and they're trusted brands. But by brand alone, that does not mean that the customer is going to allow you to get away with lower quality of service. I'll give you a perfect example. When WhatsApp Voice was launched, 50% of the time, it wouldn't work, okay? But nobody complained. Why? Because it's WhatsApp, it's free. Nobody bothered to complain. Who are you going to complain to, right? If that would have happened to a service provider, they'd be front page of the news, either the local news or the financial news or a much bigger publication. So the expectation of that carrier is very different, right? So they need to be very reliable and provide good quality of service. But even then, right, the carriers are trying to beat each other over, we have a better network, we have a faster network, we have a more reliable network, and so forth and so on. The one area where they haven't differentiated themselves is in the customer experience area, right? And the example I gave earlier today is Uber. Uber really is a competitor to the carriers, to the service providers, in the customer experience arena. Why? You go to your app, you order your taxi, you know when it's coming, who it is, how much they're going to charge you, and when will they be there to pick you up. You order a new service from a wireless provider or from a service provider, right? It could be weeks, it could be months before you actually get it, right? So the experience that you're getting from an Uber type of application versus a service provider application is very different. So that customer experience and understanding that expectation from us as consumers is very important for the carriers to truly understand so they can provide that kind of service to their customers.
Talking about the Amdocs process in Latin America, is the company expanding its footprint, and why, and what expectation do you have regarding Latin America and the Caribbean?
Sure. We have high expectations in Latin America. We've seen fairly high growth in this market. We've announced several major projects over the last few years in the region. So now, naturally, now that we've won those projects, we have to make sure that we have the people to support those projects. So we've expanded our footprint into different countries throughout Latin America and the Caribbean. But expansion means two things. Expansion means creating new opportunities and new jobs for the local individuals in those markets. It also means bringing experts from around the world to be able to support those implementations or those projects. We've also recognized and we've also realized that the Latin American market is unique in a very positive way. And it's unique because they actually value high touch. They really value relationships. So it was important, if we want to continue to grow in this region, it's very important for us to provide that kind of service to our customers. So we're adding development and operation centers throughout the region for us to be able to do that.
Thank you a lot for this interview.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Follow all the news at rtlwireless.com.